while making music as their primary draw, they use it to bring people into what it is that actually earns them a living. So earlier this year, Andrew Twine released this book, Make Your Own Rules. In it, he writes about what it's like to be a musician on the internet, how he shifted his expectation from being a touring musician to somebody who makes videos about music online as his primary way of earning money, but also the journey that he took getting from where he started in music school to where he is now. We're going to look at this book because I think it has a very interesting idea in one of the later chapters about how the actual value that comes from making music is totally disconnected from how musicians actually make money. And I think there's a great parallel with how social enterprise works. Financial value has shifted away from recorded music, to be sure, but maybe the freedom listeners now have in accessing music is the trade-off for the freedom musicians have in sharing their work. It's a challenge, and the major labels still have major advantages, but sustaining an independent music career is far more within reach than ever before. We can connect with our audiences directly, and they can support us directly, just in ways that aren't paying to hear a recording. So to me, the most interesting part of Andrew Huang's book here is that he explains that music itself doesn't earn an artist any money. It's the things you do with music that allow you to earn money from making music. Let me explain. So when we're talking about making music, you start by making music. We're going to assume in this situation you already own the gear you need and that you have the ability to make and record music. Well, no, that's a pretty big assumption. Let's record music. So you gotta be able to make music and record music. You have to have the gear, you need to have the ideas, you need to have the time to be able to make music and then record it. Now you go to promote it. This includes social media, it includes putting up posters in your hometown, it involves begging your friends and family to share it with others, anything you need to do to promote the music. So promoting the music lets you gather attention. It leads to commissions. You get paid to make music. Great, a nice tight loop, which in his experience was not a lot of money, but was enough to subsist on as a student. That's one loop. Make music, record music, promote it, gather attention, get commissions. Here's a second loop. So you've made music and now you want to have a show. You want to make some money. Okay, you have to go and promote a show. You have to make a connection with a promoter. You have to schedule a venue. You have to schedule the support staff, probably a sound tech, maybe a light tech. You then go and play a show. You might get some part of the cover charge or a cut of the alcohol sales at the venue, and that's usually a tiny amount of money. A lot of bands that go on tour, they lose money on their tours because it's not how money's made in music these days. Well, at the show, you also have merch to sell. But wait, we're getting ahead of ourselves. To have merch to sell, you have to have made merch. You have to go through the design process, getting it printed, getting it made. You might be working with a designer. So there's more work to be done, and you have to spend more money before you can even sell the merch to start earning a better margin. So you're making music to promote a show, to play a show, to sell merch, to make money, so that you can go back and make music again in the first place. Here's a third line. You make music, you record music, and you publish it so that people can listen to it. This is on online streaming sites, through record stores if they still exist in your local area. And so you'll get a tiny royalty for online streaming, and you might get a slightly larger portion if they're buying the physical media. It doesn't generate as much attention because you again have to promote that their music is available for streaming or for purchase. Now let's go back to that first loop. Make music, record music, promote the music, and gather attention. With that attention, you have made a connection with an audience. You can crowdfund. If there's enough people who are willing to send you some money to say, here, please make more, that can be a way to earn money to make music. Essentially, listeners are paying so that the musician keeps making more music, which is a totally new relationship and did not exist 20 years ago in terms of the way music gets made and the way artists get paid. And finally, from gathering attention and creating a connection with people, you can go and license your music. They can pay you money based on box office numbers, a flat fee to include it in a movie. Your music can be licensed to be placed into this larger piece of media, because of the attention it's gathered and the connection that it's made. That is often the largest payday for independent musicians, because that is when their music is connecting with other larger products that are being sold without necessarily having to put in their extra work to sell it themselves. Now, most of that has nothing to do with actually making or performing music. So finding ways that you can take the thing that creates the value, the making of the music, you have to find ways to put that through a system to find the monetizable moments to be able to get paid and be able to subsist on making music. When you compare anything solely by monetary value, you run into absurdities. A drink at a music festival can cost as much as an album. The ticket price is likely to be significantly higher. Even a band's t-shirt can cost more than an album, if they're even still making physical albums. But if a band is making more money from their merch than from their music, we still consider them a band, not a t-shirt retailer. The money is not, and probably never has been, a reflection of value. It's always about what products are more attractive and have better margins, and what systems are in place that recognize and remunerate artists for their work. Almost all value resides in the music. People buy merch or tickets only if they love the music. What will keep shifting is how we capture that value. And now we shift to social enterprise. Social enterprise creates a lot of value in things that are not typically purchased. Who is going to buy a reduction in poverty? Who is going to buy fewer people in prisons? That is not a thing that is typically purchasable. And so social enterprise has to do the work of finding the connections, the things people do value along the way to making those social goals happen to be able to sell and be able to earn a living off of the work. For example, Salome Laundry Services. Salome provides laundry services and they hire people who are currently experiencing homelessness. Through that, they're able to reduce the poverty level of one of the most at-risk populations in our city, in Winnipeg. They do that by selling laundry services to other companies. They are not paid for the reduction in homelessness. At best, Salome, the larger organization, receives donations from people who care about that. But the laundry service itself receives none of it directly. So they have found a way to create this business that sells laundry services, reducing their own costs by providing laundry services to other clients, people who just need a service provided. So in the laundry service example, we've got research and development. That feeds in, you have to know what the local market looks like. You have to know what you need to be able to provide the services well. You've also got admin. That feeds into sales. That feeds into being able to provide laundry services. Sales naturally feeds into providing laundry. You need sales to be able to do the work. If no one's hired you, you can't do the work. If you're doing laundry services well, you will build a reputation. Reputation leads to referrals, and referrals lead to more sales. That's the core loop of being able to provide good laundry services and to have a viable business financially. On the impact, the way this makes impact is providing laundry services means they can hire people that are at risk of homelessness or are currently experiencing homelessness. By hiring people, they increase their capacity, which lets them provide more laundry services. It's a secondary loop of the capacity to do the job, which then means they can earn more money by taking on more jobs. By hiring people that are at risk, that makes the impact. They have money, they're able to stabilize their situation. They might have a stable schedule where they've never had one before. This helps them stabilize their lives and get out of being at risk of homelessness. Salome Laundry Service has had some people who start working with them while they're living in the shelter, and through working have been able to stabilize their life, their family situation, their home situation, and be able to get permanent housing set up. And that is their big impact. They're able to help people move from in homelessness or at risk of homelessness to being stable. I love the similarities between the music and social enterprises. But a lot of the work we do is not about the thing we want to do, but it's about how do we transform and find the angle for the value that we are creating, the thing that actually matters, and finding little ways to earn money enough to make it viable to keep doing it. The benefits of digital media and the internet for small artists cannot be denied. It might be the worst time since the recording industry began to make money from music, but it's the best time in history to be an artist. We've never before had such a plethora of relatively accessible tools and resources to help you learn, execute, and share your craft, or to monetize it. Decouple ideas of monetary value from the creative output itself, and there are avenues that weren't even dreamed about a generation ago. The immediacy of fan funding and sharing online, the creation of digital products, the possibility of remote events, the ease of promotion. It's not that there's a certain way that things should be and that we've fallen far from it. We're in the next stage in the evolution of what music means to people and what it means to be an artist. Musicians used to perform to make money. Then they performed to promote an album to make money. Now they have much more freedom in how much and how often they want to release their work. While making music is their primary draw, they use it to bring people into what it is that actually earns them a living. And this is more varied than ever, with fan clubs, merchandise, sample packs, brand partnerships, live streaming, online classes, private tutoring, and maybe some performing still too.